just to kind of set this up, most of these items are not just Marco, it's all the other anti-MLM Huns. And if people aren't familiar with that term, what that means is the anti-MLM people call the pro-MLM people Huns because that's typically how they approach somebody, particularly the women. They'll say, "Hey, Hun, how you been doing?" So
Yep.
they call them Huns. Well, I call the anti-MLM people Huns also because they're just as wrong as the pro-MLM people. They don't know what they're talking about,
Yep.
and so I call them anti-MLM Huns. So let me just say, some of these things are particularly towards Marco, but a lot of them are just most of the anti-MLM Huns
Yeah.
have the same kind of errors in their thinking. So I just wanted to kind of set that up real quick.
So
And what
just
I'll do is
yeah,
go ahead.
just a quick question. So let's just look at the top three anti-MLMers who you think are doing the worst job. Could you like sort of list them? One being the one you think's the worst, and then two and three. Who are the three worst anti-MLMers in your opinion? Who's doing the worst job?
It'd be hard to pick the worst three. Probably the worst three would be the three that are getting the most views because they're missing the mark
Yeah.
and they're getting the most eyeballs, so they have the most potential to do good, but they're not doing much good.
So who are they?
I
Sorry.
think I couldn't tell you who the biggest ones are. The ones that come to the front of my mind are people like Illuminati.
Okay. So
Um,
I just want your view. Who's the worst? Who's the second worst? Who's the third worst?
I think they're all. I think they're all bad. There's really no worst or better. They're all pretty bad. The ones that get the most eyeballs have the most potential to do good,
Yeah.
and they're not doing it. And that's why I would say, people like Illuminati.
Is Illuminati
I'm trying
worse
to
than Marco?
remember who.
Who's the worst?
I'm trying to remember who's. Well, I'm not going to rank them
Okay.
because they're all bad. Bad is bad. Trying to say if this one's a little bit worse than another one, they're all missing the mark. So it doesn't really matter ranking wise to me.
Is there anybody out there who's debunking MLMs who you think is doing a good job, or maybe not even a good job, but they've got some things that they're doing well? Is there anyone out there who you'd have some positive words to say about them?
Yeah, me.
You're it. You're the only one.
I can't find anyone else.
Well, hang on. What about Sean Munger? We both agreed that Sean Munger's presentation on the Amway Tool Scam was absolutely outstanding. He's not a
Sean did a good job on that,
yeah
but he's a historian, so he did a story on the history of the tool scam,
yep
um, and that's good,
yep
and we agree on that. But that was pretty much a one and done for him.
yep yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? My view is that I give that 10 out of 10. His history of the Amway Tool Scam, I give that literally a 10 out of 10. And I'm quite devastated. The only thing that's devastating me more than seeing Munger not making more videos about MLM companies, and he's probably sick to death of me because I've sent him that many emails and requests on Facebook begging him to make more. The only thing that's disappointing me more is the fact that you and Peter Mingles will not debate Marco. So they're my two biggest sort of frustrations in life at the moment and disappointments. But I still live in hope that one day Scene will make more videos about MLMs and that one day you and Peter will debate Marco finally. But maybe I'm being too
Well,
optimistic.
I think the first one has a better chance of actually occurring.
Oh, you reckon? You reckon Scene Munger's a bigger chance of making it another video?
Yeah, because ours is zero.
Okay. All right. Well, other people, maybe if a few of us get on board, to everyone listening, please send Scene Munger a message and let him know how amazing his first video was, but urge him to make more. All right. So basically, what you're saying is, Scene Munger's the history of the MLM, of the Amway Tool Scam. That's apart from the videos on your channel. That's the only good work being done, sort of to debunk the MLM industry. Am I being accurate there?
Yeah, he did a good job. I have to say. But again, it was a historical,
Yeah.
focused story. So it really wasn't intended to make anybody do anything.
Yep.
But that's what needs to really happen is for people to do stuff
Yep.
like complain to the FTC, politicians, the media,
Yep.
you name it. It wasn't really a call for action. It was, hey, here's some history. And he did a good job with it, but that's the extent of it.
Sorry, what do you get? What did you give that out of 10? I gave it 10 out of 10. What did you give it out of 10?
I'll give it around a 7 out of 10 because
7 out of 10.
again,
Okay.
it was a history.
Yep.
It wasn't a call to action. You can talk about history until the cows come home, and nothing's going to happen. The millions of people, literally millions of people, every year in the United States alone, they get scammed by MLMs, will continue to occur
Yep.
until people actually do something versus just talk about history. So, it's as good as what it was intended for,
Yep.
but it was not intended to cause change. It was intended to give a view of history.
So we've seen how to put on the screen the FTC's phone number and contact details, and if he had urged the people listening to contact the